Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetri K, and I'm sitting here with Donovan, a recovering Democrat Saadiq, also known as the Black Yul Brenner. And if you guys didn't know, yes, I am in one of the states, Texas, right, where there is this freeze going on. And I would say it's mighty cold. Yes, it is, but I don't know how much of a freeze we had. I think we kind of got lucky. Where I'm at, I don't see any ice, any snow, any of that kind of stuff. So thank God, did not lose power, knock on wood, and all of that. But for those who did lose power and all of that, I hope that it does come back on because it is really cold here, right? As y'all can see, I put on a sweatshirt today. But anyway, I should say that the purpose of the Demetri K Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we're great people, but we can always try to do better. Like I said, big giant thank you, hello, and welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation. Also, thank you to my wonderful moderators for all that you do in holding down the comment section. Today, we're going to be talking about another white American unalived during an ICE raid protest in Minnesota. And his name was Alex Preddy. And we're going to get into all of that. But if you see on the thumbnail, it says Minnesota has an American problem. It's such a loaded thumbnail. I promise you it is. But in the meantime, Donovan, what say you?
All right, welcome you guys to another Demetri K conversation, to the Demetri K Show. Glad to have you here. I'm a little tired, been a busy week, so please forgive me for my lack of energy. The Dallas Cowboys aren't in the NFC Championship, so I'm a little distraught about that again for the 30th year. But I'll get over it somehow. But this is going to be an important conversation. And again, we are glad to have you here with us to help us get this information out and get some conversation going. If you want to continue to have these great conversations, ways you can do it, you can look at the scrolling banner at the bottom, and we have Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, Cash, Money Order, however you guys want to do that. Also, don't forget to download the African Diaspora News Channel app. You can get it on Google Play, Apple Store, where you get great videos from Demetri K, Vicky Dillard, Brother Phil Scott, Juan Gale, and a whole host of hosts that contribute to the app. Once again, that's the African Diaspora News Channel app, Google Play, Apple Store. Makes great gift, graduation gift, birthday gift, Easter gift. Knowledge is power. So this is going to be pretty interesting as we, in the words of the new Black Panther Party, power to the people, we for everybody, and we're going to get out there and protest for this white person. But yet that party, and that's another story, when Black people are shot down, I didn't hear the new Black Panther Party. Anyway, let's get into it.
Absolutely, and yes, indeed. And I'm going to say hello to everybody in just a minute. But hello. Hope that you are warm, or at least close to it, wherever you are. Again, prayers to people who have lost power, and maybe people at this point, because there's a lot going on with this weather. But if you know, you know. And I just want to do a shameless plug for all of America. If you have not read this by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, you should, because it talks about it, the 4 calamities, and one of them is snow and rain and all of the above, right? We're seeing a lot of that. It is unusual, I guess, to be as cold as it is. It's almost like half of the country is freezing, right? It's just been a lot of things shut down, as far as like there's hardly anything open here in Houston. A lot of flights have been canceled all over the country, and yeah, it's, if you haven't read it, please do so. So anyway, unfortunately, yesterday in Minnesota, of course, you guys know, I'll preface it by this way, that the Trump administration and Tom Homan, who was the border czar, and ICE and Border Patrol and all that, they sent originally about 2,000 ICE officers, Border Patrol, and I guess everybody else in between, to Minnesota to help with the illegal immigration problem. Now, from that point, I guess the Trump administration felt like they needed more, because a couple of weeks ago at this point, a white woman by the name of Renee Good, she, had her life taken from her during a protest by an ICE agent. And so a lot of people were outraged, but I guess the Trump administration was like, okay, well, if you think you're mad now, we're going to send some more troops, right? Now, it should be said, from what I understand, don't quote me, but it sounds like there's only, how can I say this? So Minnesota, I guess, is considered a blue state. And I don't thousands, a couple thousand of illegal immigrants from what I understand, but they say that in red states there's in the millions, right? So there's thousands in Minnesota, but millions in the red state. But I say that to say a lot of people are taking issue because it's like you got all that manpower in Minnesota. Now, it also should be said that there's only 600 police officers, I guess, throughout the state, to that of 3,000 ICE agents, Border Patrol, and things like that. So with that, I guess they're like, we're going to crack down because, of course, you guys know that Trump had a big back and forth with Representative Ilhan Omar and a Somali community. There was a fraud unearthed there where there was daycares, as billions of dollars of fraud. Again, there's a white woman at the helm of it. And I'm always going to mention her because sometimes how people forget to mention her. A white woman was at the helm of it, but they only mention the Somalis. And as I always say, the Somalis going to go to jail. Okay, you can believe that. And that sounds like the ladies in jail too, but they going to pay to the fullest extent of the law. So anyway, from that, you had, a whole bunch of YouTubers showing up. And the one named Nick Shirley, he showed up with his YouTube camera, exposed the daycare fraud. I say that in quotations, right? One of the centers, I was spelled wrong. It should have said Learning Center, but it said Leering Center or something like that. So, of course, that all went viral. And the White House and Stephen Miller and everybody, they was like, oh, we're going to, withhold funds, which they did, right, in a lot of cases, so we could see what's going on. From that, you saw a lot of YouTubers converge onto the Minnesota community, trying to get into daycares, let us see them kids and all this other stuff. And then when they couldn't get into the daycares, they ran around talking about, oh, they're committing fraud because the doors is locked. Well, it's like, you big dummy. Most daycare doors are locked. All right. So there's a lot going on. And then, unfortunately, yesterday, another man, a white man by the name of Alex, and y'all saw him on the thumbnail. He was at a protest. And I'll let everybody else fill it in because I don't, really want to say what I saw. I think we probably all saw the same thing. I don't know. But anyway, he was a nurse, 37 years old, and he was there. I cannot show y'all the video. I know y'all have seen it already by now, but he was there and he ended up unalived. Let's just say that much. But I want to show y'all a video of him that has been trending around the internet.
That freedom is not free. We have to work at it, nurture it, protect it, and even sacrifice for it. May we never forget and always remember our brothers and sisters who have served so that we may enjoy the gift of freedom. So in this moment, we remember and give thanks for their dedication and selfless service to our nation in the cause of our freedom. In this solemn hour, we render them our honor and our gratitude.
Okay, so again, that was Alex Peretti. He again was a nurse, 37 years old, and that was a video again that I've seen trending around the internet. Basically, he worked at a veterans hospital, and they said he did a lot with the veteran community and things like that. And that was one of the things that he did, I guess, on a regular basis. Gave them a proper send off per se once they passed away. As you saw, there was somebody under an American flag. So I'm pointing that out because per what people are saying, right? He was a good one. I'm just saying that. I don't know the man. I'm just telling y'all what was said about him. Okay. Now, some of y'all probably wondering what happened. I'm going to give y'all two perspectives, not from my perspective, but one is from Greg Bovino. I think he's like a deputy something of ICE. So here is his explanation. Some of these are a little bit sped up just for the sake of time. So here is one explanation as to what happened.
a.m. Central Standard Time, as DHS law enforcement officers were conducting a targeted operation in Minneapolis against an illegal alien, Jose Huerta Chuma. You can see this illegal alien on the screen to my left and right. That is Jose Huerta Chuma, whose criminal history includes domestic assault to intentionally inflict bodily harm, disorderly conduct, and driving without a valid license. During this operation, an individual approached U.S. Border Patrol agents with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. The agents attempted to disarm the individual, but he violently resisted. Fearing for his life and the lives and safety of fellow officers, a Border Patrol agent fired defensive shots. Medics on the scene immediately delivered medical aid to the subject, but the subject was pronounced dead at the scene. The suspect also had 2 loaded magazines and no accessible ID. This looks like a situation where an individual wanted to do maximum damage and massacre law enforcement. Then, about 200 rioters arrived at the scene and began to obstruct and assault law enforcement. Crowd control measures have been deployed for the safety of the public and law enforcement. This situation is evolving, and more information is forthcoming. The officer was highly trained and had been serving as a Border Patrol agent for 8 years. The officer has extensive training as a range safety officer and less lethal officer.
Okay. So again, that was an explanation from the government per se, their point of view. He basically said that Alex caused what happened to him. Again, I cannot show y'all the video. It's really graphic. But I will say it sounds like he was, shot, I don't know, maybe 6-7 times, right? Okay, so before I show y'all the other video, I just want to show y'all some things. Of course, this is President Donald Trump. He says, this is the gunman's gun, and I have to blur it out, obviously, right? Gun loaded with 2 additional full magazines and ready to go. What is that all about? He says, where are the local police? Why weren't they? Again, the local police is 600 of them compared to 3,000 plus ICE agents, right? So he says, why aren't they allowed to protect ICE officers? The mayor and the governor called them off. It is stated that many of these police were not allowed to do their job. The ICE had to protect themselves. Not an easy thing to do. Why does Ilhan Omar have over $34 million in her bank or her account? And where are the tens of billions of dollars that have been stolen from the once great state of Minnesota, where we are there because of a massive monetary fraud with billions of dollars missing and illegal criminals that were allowed to infiltrate the state through the Democrats' open border policy? We want the money back, and we want it back now. Those fraudsters who stole the money are going to jail. We are where they belong. This is no different than a really big bank robbery. Much of what you're witnessing is a cover-up for this theft and fraud. The mayor and the governor are inciting insurrection with their pompous, dangerous, and arrogant rhetoric. Instead of these sanctimonious political fools should be looking for the billions of dollars that has been stolen from the people of Minnesota and the United States of America. Let our patriots do their job. 12,000 illegal alien criminals, many of them violent, have been arrested and taken out of Minnesota. If they are still there, you would see something far worse than you're witnessing today. So again, with that, he basically was saying it. If you ask me, it was a big deflection as to what happened. He veered off to Ilhan Omar and illegal aliens. That's their words. 12,000 of them. But again, in a lot of the red states, they're into the millions. Just kind of putting that out there. Again, he talked about why weren't they the police protecting ICE? Again, there's 3,000 plus of them there. So what kind of protection are they doing? Then, of course, he talks about the billions and billions and billions. I won't get too much into that because to me, it's a big deflection. No matter what side of the aisle you stand on, I don't stand on any, but that's a big deflection from what happened. Okay, so I just want you to see the president of the United States, his statement. And then, of course, let's bring in Pam Bondi. Now, Pam Bondi, of course, you know, is the Attorney General. And I'll just highlight it here because this is what a lot of people are talking about. It says, third, allow the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice to access voter rolls to confirm that Minnesotan voters registered practices comply with federal laws as authorized by the Civil Rights Act of 1960. Fulfilling this common sense request will better guarantee free and fair elections and boost confidence in the rule of law. And then let's see here. Where does she say? Give me a second. It says here, do not obstruct federal immigration enforcement. Do not allow rioters to take over streets and houses and worship. Do not hinder federal officials from investigating financial fraud in violation of election laws. Whether state or local politicians stand in the way, we will work every day to protect Americans and make Minnesota safe again. I request that you join us in this effort. And then, you know, she also talks about basically, in a sense, y'all do what we want, then will go away. So a lot of people are taking issue with her wanting the voter rolls. And in some other cases, they want some other personal information from different states and things like that. Now, of course, the former First Lady and President Obama, they made a statement. I'll just read the top of it. It says the killing of Alex Peretti is heartbreaking tragedy. It should also be a wake-up call to every American, regardless of party, that many of our core values as a nation are increasingly under assault. Okay, so they just kind of go over what's going on there in Minnesota. Now, I'm going to let y'all hear from Ted Williams. He is a Fox News contributor. He's a civil and criminal attorney, and it sounds like he's on there quite a bit, giving his assessment of certain things. And this is his assessment of what happened yesterday with Alex Peretti.
It's Minneapolis today. What is first and foremost in your mind?
Well, John, I got to tell you, I've watched that videotape at least about, let's say, 100 times because I knew I was going to be coming on with you and I wanted to speak as accurate as I can. And I do believe that there needs to be a complete investigation. I was taken back by the White House, who initially put out what I defined as misrepresentation of what took place there when you look at the video. It was said that Mr. Peretti was brandishing a weapon. Well, he was not brandishing a weapon. Yes, he did have a weapon. It was said that by the White House that Mr. Peretti attacked those agents. No, he did not attack those agents. And one of the White House individuals called Mr. Peretti a domestic terrorist. I find this man is dead. He has a family. And to go out and call him a domestic terrorist without giving any more information is just unacceptable. And then, John, when I looked at the video, what you saw was an agent pushing a woman aside, Mr. Peretti getting sprayed, them jumping on top of Mr. Peretti. And this is something that our audience should see with their own eyes. You can see where one of the agents actually physically takes Mr. Peretti's gun. And that is before he shot. And then all of a sudden he shot. There's a pause, and there are more bullets that are shot in his direction. So that investigation, what I'm asking is that there be a complete and thorough and transparent investigation, John, not only by the federal agencies, but also by the state and local investigators also working together.
Okay. Now, again, that is Mr. Ted Williams. He's on there a lot, and he is considered, I guess, a Fox News expert. And he's basically saying Trump, Bondi, Bovino, Cash Patel, JD Vance, and a whole host, Stephen Miller. They're all lying. Now, again, I can't show y'all the video, but I think Ted Williams described the video perfectly because I think that's what most people saw. That they are in fact lying on him. In fact, Alex was in the street, at the protest. He was there, but he had his camera or his phone, but he did not have his gun brandished. It was in, I guess, his holster or whatever. And they said that he did tell them as they were tackling them down, hey, I have I'm legally can carry what you can in Minnesota. But as Ted explained, you did see one of the ICE agents take the weapon before they even shot him, right? So there's a lot going on there. But to Ted's point, it's reckless to put that narrative out when everybody can see that's not what happened. Okay, now, so a lot of people are upset. You're hearing all these narratives about what's going on and what's happened. And again, as Ted said, well, it's pretty obvious what happened, right? But it's these narratives. But I'm going to go back to March 3rd, 1992, where a man by the name of Rodney King was beat within an inch of his life by LAPD. And what happened was he was maybe inebriated to some degree on the side of the road there in Los Angeles. I think of Simi Valley or somewhere around there. Police officers, again, Billy clubbed him and a whole host of things. Now, again, this was really before camera phones and things like that. So police officers thought they were just whooping another black man's behind, just like business as usual, right? But unbeknownst to them, there was a man, I think he was white. It was on this balcony and he saw everything. So he, put his video camcorder up and, he began to film the whole thing and he released it to the news. And that's how we know of the Rodney King incident. But I want y'all to listen to this snippet of people who, were being interviewed.
Publicized trials in U.S. history. Many believed that the videotape was more than enough evidence to convict the 4 Los Angeles police officers, but the all-white jury saw it another way.
We would like to say that this experience has been an extremely difficult and stressful one which we have all agonized over a great deal.
Almost everyone has heard about or seen the videotape beating of California motorist Rodney King. Chattanooga, Maryland Ashford was shocked by the verdict.
It's just unnecessary beating. To me, it was just unnecessary. And I'm surprised they let him go. Oh, I am surprised.
Chris Hunt was also surprised, but he says he trusts the jury.
If the jury found them not guilty, I think they know more than what I know. Based on what I saw, they appeared to be guilty, but apparently the jury found out something more.
Charles Cox wonders why Rodney King didn't take the stand in the trial.
If they'd have put King on the stand and he'd have told his side of it, I might have changed my mind. But I had a feeling that if he didn't take the stand to tell what he was doing and what he had done and what his record was, just being out of prison a few days, that there was something more to it than what we seen on that tape.
But some folks say the acquittal makes police think they are above the law.
When they do something, it seems like it's okay, with the law. As long as they got on their blue uniform, it's okay.
City Councilman Yusef Hakeem worries that the decision will drive yet another wedge between the police and the black community.
And if we're to move forward together as a community, as a nation, we have to do those things that bring about fairness and justice. And I do not believe this decision is one that brings us together.
All right. Now, as I was, kind of conducting some research for this today, what we're doing, I thought about the Rodney King thing, because to me, yeah, Alex didn't get whooped, with batons, and obviously I had to blur that out, right? Because even though that was in 1992, it's still very hard to watch, and I didn't want to get in trouble for showing that. But yeah, so Alex didn't get beat up on by batons and things like that. He did, have his life taken from him from law enforcement, for a lack of better words. But, like with the Rodney King video, everybody saw the video. Now, I should say originally the officers were acquitted on the state level, right? Again, found not guilty. And we know what happened with that. LA went up, right? LA went up. And it's still recovering. South Central Los Angeles, in a sense, is still kind of recovering from that. But then on the federal level, they were found guilty because, you just was not going to not find them guilty. As some people said, well, how could you look at that video and not deem that they were guilty? Like, we saw all of this go on. It happened live and in living color. There was no dispute. All right. So here we are in 2026. But for those of y'all who saw the video, unless you're looking with one eye or whatever, you kind of saw what happened. I think Ted Williams had the best analogy of what happened in that particular video. Well, all those years later, now we're seeing white people. And again, I'm not saying Alex deserved it or not. We're seeing white people being unalived, because that's the word we really can say right on here, right? We're seeing white people being unalived on video, played over and over, because that Rodney King video was played over and over and over, right? To the point we got desensitized. And so just like with Rodney, Alex's video and then Renee's video played over and over and over and over again. And then, of course, you got now the president. And even with Rodney King, you had a lot of heavyweight people. Even Daryl Gates, who was the police chief at the time, he was under a lot of scrutiny in Los Angeles because he kind of just like was a shoulder shrug type of thing until he had to admit, yeah, that was pretty brutal. So you have a lot of people explaining away, well, if he would have just complied, right, being Alex, or he did this, that, and the other, he's a domestic terrorist and blah, 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 blah. So again, as I was thinking about all this, I said, Minnesota has an American problem. Now, what exactly is an American problem? The American problem is the same problem that has been the problem for Black men and women in America since we were here, right? The system, the police, whatever it is, right? That the problem that we've had is now in Minnesota, and now is being exacted upon white people, like the people you that have the privilege to sit in their living rooms and watch the brutality of Black Americans and say, well, gosh, maybe he should apply it. I'm not saying Alex is saying that, but I'm saying that's kind of the seat that white Americans get to sit in, and now they're becoming a victim, if you will, of the American problem. But see, the problem is when it goes on with everybody else, specifically Black Americans, it's like, well, that's bad, it's horrible, but so if they would have, because it's their problem, we didn't create this problem, right? But if they would have solved this problem when they saw it back in the gap, then maybe we wouldn't be seeing them. And listen, I can't really get into all of it on here because it's YouTube, right? But we're seeing these people in the White House explain away what is, let's keep it a buck, a Gestapo situation, right? Because even with that, Alex, Renee, Keith Porter, right? Los Angeles, we want to continue to mention him. They were all entitled to due process. You are allowed to protest, but we've moved past reason now, because when it was going on with us as Black Americans, it was, that's too bad, so sad. Let me go see what's for dinner. But now that we're seeing it live and in living color with white people, it's a game changer. You're hearing a lot of people talk about what we need to do, get rid of ICE, this, that, and the other. And so as I had a conversation with somebody before I gave it to Donovan, it's like, Black Americans, we ain't got to do nothing. We ain't got to do nothing. We didn't create this problem. And you know what it's going to take? Just like it took during the Civil War. I know our people was there, the Revolutionary War, Boston Tea Party, and all these other things, and the insurrection to something. It's going to take them to dismantle the system that they built and the system that they champion. And we ain't got to do nothing. They'll tear it apart. I already see a lot of them talking about that. It's doer. Let them tear it down. We ain't got to do nothing. Donovan?
Well, if they would just comply, we didn't see the whole videotape.
Wait, hold
Well,
on,
you,
hold on. Let me. Not to cut you off. I just
Yeah.
want to. Gearhead. I don't know if you speak in me. Says you are defending people resisting while armed with a gun. Really serious. Let me tell you something. I told you what I saw. I'm not defending nobody, but what I saw, I think most people see it because y'all go along with these narratives. I'm trying not to get mad, right? Because I'm start sweating. But y'all go along with these narratives that y'all see that are half-baked narratives. And like Ted Williams said, go see for yourself. Stop going along with narratives because people are painting narratives. I ain't got a dog in a fight, right? Because I've seen what happened to my people and nobody gave a damn. But what I'm not going to do is get up here and lie and placate and appease people because they want to go along with a narrative. I know what I saw, right? So I'm not defending anybody. And the man was not resisting arrest because I don't even think the man was under arrest. In fact, he was defending a lady who was shoved down to the ground. So he got in the way of that. I think men like that, I'm just going to say this and I'm going to shut up, are a dying breed. And no pun intended.
Well, again, we didn't see the whole video. If they would just comply. Well, you know, they have a propensity to steal and be getting caught in trouble and all this other stuff. All of these stereotypes that we're talking about. Dimitri and I were talking about before the show started, and I was talking about on my show, if you guys caught me on Friday, about how it's so important to know how government works in the country. The final say-so of any law of the land is federal law. Federal law supersedes anything else, okay? We litigated all of this in the Civil War, states' right versus central federal rights. The federal government is the final say-so. Can states make independent laws for their states? Yes. You're hearing all in these blue states, oh, we're going to mandate that they have to undo their masks. How do you do that? How do you enforce the federal government to take their mask off in the process of doing their duties? This is all political theater. And like I've told you guys before in the past, are you yet entertained? They do this for these liberals out here to make it seem like they're doing something about the problem. But one thing I've noticed, Demetra, in the red states, you don't see these actions and things happening. But let's go back a little bit farther to the Obama administration. If you guys have been on my Facebook, I put a picture up of Mr. Obama giving Tom Holloman the highest medal you can get as a civilian in the federal government for doing the exact same job he's doing right now. And I want you guys that remember, back then, Obama was known as, and he still is known as, the biggest deporter in chief there ever was, right? But wasn't the blue states cooperating with the federal government when Obama was doing all of this? What's changed so differently? Somebody argued to me and said, well, they're brutalizing the people and they're picking the people up at the court sessions and stuff like that. That's a lie. The procedures of ICE have not changed. Well, they're going into schools and churches. The procedures of ICE have not changed. Go look up their procedures from then till now. The thing is, a narrative is being created of a propaganda of this happening. Now, as Black people, how many times have we seen this playbook? How many times? And I want to say this about Rodney King. I knew those police officers were lying because ain't no way a Hyundai Excel goes over 80 miles an hour, and that's even if it's going downhill. So we knew they were lying when he said he was speeding. It's a narrative that the news media keeps telling people. And Demetra, do you know what kills me about this? They told the American people just last year or the year before last that Kamala Harris was winning. Oh, she's going to blow this thing out. Why is it that people still look at the national news as a credible source of information when they have been proven to be either a Democratic machine or a Republican machine of propaganda. Now, I don't care how you feel about this. One thing I know as a black man, obstruction is a physical act in the course of a law enforcement's duty. If you get involved in obstructing in the act of their investigation, whatever, you could be arrested and bad things could happen. It's just a fact of life. And it is so ironic to me that we see all of these black people that are out there in the streets being used as crash dummies. Black people, don't you fall for it. Don't you fall for it. Sisters, go out there, get your nails done, get your hair done, take your kids to the park, enjoy your life. Because whenever we needed these people, and Dimitri and I were talking about this right here in California, you had Hispanic assembly members talking about their first or second generation, and they shouldn't have to pay reparations because they had nothing to do with it. But they had no problem paying reparations to Asians and Jews and all this other stuff, right? This is the first and second generation immigrants that come here because of black people saying that they're not for reparations. Y'all continue to mind your business, but I will agree, any loss of life is tragic, but we also know illegal immigration is a threat to black people, and we should not be out there. Let the ICE agents do what they're supposed to do, and let the process be the process. What these people are doing out there, to me, makes no sense. Let's see what you guys got to say.
Absolutely. And Brother Samuel, how you doing? And hello to everybody. You said their attempt to draw blacks into the fight seems to be pretty, because Peretti, that's his name, good. You says, I see what you did there. Pretty and good. Both of the last names are Renee and Alex there. Says, I even heard a white woman shouting power to the people on TV. Couple that with the so-called Black Panther coverage. Yeah. You know, and there's some black people out there. We don't have to get out there, right? It's really not our fight. We fought enough. Like I said, I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday. We fought enough. You know, and like Brother Todd said, I mean, there are some things that's on fire, but you know, we used to get it real crunk, right? We got it crunk, and so we've done enough. It's not our fight anymore. We tried, you know. But again, when everything was going on with us, people, they might have said something, or, you know, even with the George Floyd protest, people got out there, but nothing really major happened, right? And so it's like eventually that same violence was going to visit them. America's a very violent place, right? So eventually it's going to become unbridled. And as we always know, it's not about race. They want us to believe that. It's not. It's about class, right? This is a class war. The oligarchy against everybody else, because there really is. I mean, there's the middle class to some degree, but the working class. There's a whole lot going on. So this is another loaded conversation in and of itself. Let's see him skip down a little bit. Edward, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Elton, what's going on with you? Says, greetings. Where's the clergy to tell them to forgive, forgive? Nah, I ain't heard nobody talking about to forgive. Like you said, in our communities, we hear the clergy and everybody else talking about, even like Dylan Roof, right? They said they wish they forgive him, and they wish that he didn't have to have the death penalty for mowing down 9 people in a church, which is crazy, right? Jerron, what's going on with you? Says, a friend of mine just told me that ICE just driving around in my home state of Delaware because the government has dumped a lot of Indian people there in black communities. Yeah, I'd imagine that's true. And there is a lot of illegal people over here. And yeah, Obama, you know, he deported a lot of people. Wasn't a lot of, you know, rah-rah behind it. I would argue, though, that the method is a little bit different. You know, I think that either you're blind, and I'm just going to be real honest, I think you're blind or you willfully ignorant to say that you see what's going on in the streets of America and you think that's normal. That's not normal. I mean, I don't want to say it's normal to us, but it is, right? If you go to stop and frisk and a whole bunch of other instances where black people are, you know, racially profiled, so it's not normal to us. But to see it at the rate that it is, that's not normal. And again, if you study history, a lot of that I really can't talk about on here. But if you study history, you know what that looks like. You know what I mean? But again, I'll save that for just a minute. But Todd, it says sanctuary city like Minnesota, why would they allow to assist? Why would they be allowed to assist in ICE shootings on a city-state level when they do not want to assist in ICE turning over criminal offenders to the feds after their time has been served so that they can be deported? So you're talking about the police there? Okay. African Native, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Jamal, what's going on with you? Says you eat your popcorn and you're going to stay out of it. Okay. Tahada, how you doing? What you laughing for? I saw you was laughing. Toby, me, what's going on? He says they are fighting for people to be here illegally. Yeah, and I think that's the other conversation too, is like, yeah, there's a lot of people who are here and they shouldn't be here. You know, they're here illegally because, again, you can't go to nobody else's country and just set up shop and people are going to fight for you to be there. In fact, when I went to DR, I tell you the story all the time. I was snatched up. They put their hands on me and my daughter because they thought that we were Haitian, whatever it is. But when we were there, they were having protests. They being the Dominicans, they were having protests because they didn't want they call them illegal immigrants, right? The Haitians, which is a hop, skip, and a jump. They share the same island, right? Hispaniola, but they were protesting in the streets. They didn't want them there. How dare they? We don't want our government to give the Haitians, the illegal immigrants, anything. They were protesting in the streets, and I got footage of it. I don't remember if I put it up, but I'm saying you can't go anywhere else, and they're going to fight for you to be there. So that's the other conversation that needs to be had. So, yeah. Let's see. Let me skip down so I can catch up just a tiny bit. Y'all see all y'all comments, but I want to make sure. Hey, Frank, how you doing? Says not the same energy for Anthony, Keith Porter, rather. Yeah, Keith Porter, absolutely. Dorothy, how you doing? Says in my humble opinion, they are having civil war out there and those idiots provoked it. I expect to see more of this, and I just hope our people continue to stay out of it. Just get your popcorn. Oh, yeah, it's definitely on the verge of a civil war. I mean, like I said, I've seen a lot of rumblings and things go on, and them people about to pop off, and I'm going to be up in the house like I always am, right? So, yeah. Marta, what's going on with you? Says Little Rock, Arkansas. Magneta, what's going on with you? Says he's also a federal worker. Either way, I'm still staying out of it. Black America, you talk about with Rodney King. Yeah, they whooped his behind, right? Live and in living color. Albert Chill says, I'm putting my response from the benign neglect handbook. He shouldn't have been out there. If he just would have obeyed the law well, he stole the crayon second grade. So, yeah, he was no angel. Yeah, that's the things they do. They dig up in our background and things like that, right? Keenova says that man recorded the Rodney King beating. I had just brought that video camera at the time, and he was scared too. He was scared. He didn't know what to do. But he's like, yeah, because it sounded like he held on to it for a minute. Then he released it, but he was scared. You see something like that, it's like they know where I live, right? Brother Todd says that the officers in the Rodney King beating case on national TV got away clean. And the president and the feds was not even involved in Rodney's case. What make you think the ICE agents won't get off with the feds and the president backing ICE? Well, Stephen Miller, I don't know. He has an official capacity in the White House, but I didn't know he was really calling the shots like that. But he's been on the news a bunch of times saying that ICE agents will have full immunity. So they have full, immunity to do what they need to do. And so I think we're starting to see some of that. But he basically said they got a free pass to do whatever, and we'll excuse it. So there you have it.
Yeah, Stephen Miller's I think he's the assistant national security advisor or something like that to Trump.
Yeah, so something, hey, I think he a little bit more than that though. Again, if you know, you know. Jacoby, did I say hi to you? He says Fernando Castillo. Yes, we can go on forever. We can literally be here all day talking about the Black folks that have been unalived by the police, and people just say, well, what did he do? And this, that, and the other, right? Just swept it under the rug. We still don't know what happened to Sandra Bland. We can, speculate, but nobody really, it just kind of came and went type thing. So, yeah. Frank says, y'all
do us a favor real quick, you guys. If you get a chance, hit that like button. It's absolutely free.
Thank you. And Frank says, and y'all be caping for white conservatives, shaking my head, and liberals, okay? Mark, how you doing? Says, not our problem. Window, what's going on with you? Says, which is why we're good over here. Don't look for us. Star Jammer, how you doing? Says, I'm a vet and I'm mad they are smearing his name. Yeah, and thank you, Mike, for asking everybody to donate things like that. Thank you. Like I said, I don't think this has anything to do with color or party line. I mean, if you can look at something objectively, but unfortunately, a lot of people are not objective. They have to have people feed them information. And that's the perfect society that the powers that be, the machine, they need a society that will not think, that will take the bait, that will take the narrative, and run with it, right? That's the society they need. They don't need people to think. We'll tell you what to think, right? And if you think for yourself, you're doing what? You're committing thought crimes. If you know, you know, right? So yeah, they are smearing his name.
Yeah, wasn't there a movie about that with Tom Cruise? AI, where you dream about something or something like that. You think about a crime and they come and get you. I forgot the name of the movie.
1984 is the book that I'm referencing.
Yeah, that's a good that's one too. But I think Tom Cruise had a movie. It was called Artificial Intelligence. I think that's the movie. If I'm right, let me know in the chat. But yeah, if you would think of a crime before you even do it, they would come and get you. So it was a crime. Minority Report. That's what it was. Minority Report.
Yeah, it might be based off of that. I'm not for sure. But Frank, you know, you're right. It says they're smearing Keith Porter and George Floyd's name also. I mean, they want Derek Chauvin to this day. They being them folks, they think that he should be let out of jail because George Floyd was a criminal and, you know, drugs and, you know, all this other nonsense they got going on. So they saw the same thing we saw. A white man, a police officer, kneel on George Floyd's neck for almost 10 minutes, taking his very life. And they don't think that was Derek Chauvin's fault. They thought that he was all right in doing that. See what I'm saying? So yeah, I understand what y'all saying about and trust me, I'm not oblivious because when see it happen to them, I think it's what it is, and I think a lot of people don't realize it. It's a mind trip to a lot of people when you see it happen to white people, and I say that because you're not used to seeing that kind of thing happen to white people. Unfortunately and sadly, people are used to seeing it happen to black people, black Americans to be exact, right? And other black people who've been not black Americans, and they're used to it, to they're desensitized, and they rationalize it, right? Well, you know, it's so sad. What did they do, right? That's just that's why I said Minnesota has an American problem, because that's violence and what we have seen them do to others. It says American is apple pie, but again, when they see that happen to white people, it's like, that's the wrong color. You know, and then you see all these politicians and everybody, and you want to, you know, just disrupt the system. The time is now. It's like, no, the time was when y'all was doing to what y'all was doing to our people on the plantations, and everybody excused it, right? So yeah, the time is now, but the time has been now.
And has anybody noticed between all of this stuff going out there, I haven't seen one Asian in any, at least I haven't seen it. One Asian in any protest. I haven't seen one Asian statement. I haven't seen one Asian in anything. I'm not pointing the Asians out to be mean to them, but what I'm saying is they benefit off of the black vote and anybody else's vote they can get while they sit in silence, getting rich and enriching themselves.
Yeah, Molly Cakes, and how you doing? Yep, George Bush was forced to make a statement in regards to Rodney King. That is absolutely true. Let's see here. I saw somebody make a comment. Yes, Frank, I've talked about Keith Porter a copious amount of times. I think I was one in the beginning of people talking about it. I talked about it a lot because I watched a lot of politicians and people rant and rave about what happened to Renee Good and didn't mention anything about Keith Porter until I guess they were forced to do it. And now they'll give him an honorable mention, but they don't mention him in the same conversation with Renee Good and Alex Preddy. They just don't. But he's black, right? And you're right. It was a Mexican ICE agent that did that to him. So yeah, that's a whole nother conversation in and of itself, right? All right, let's see. Let me skip down just a tiny bit going down. Nice watch. How you doing? Salute to you as well. Black America says not women, men, black men. Nobody is killing black women in mass. I mean, yeah, I you don't have an argument with me there. Yohanan, he says Deuteronomy 37, and he says, and the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thy enemy and upon them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. Come on now, if you know, you know. Sherry, how you doing? Says, but they do not have to be a victim. All they have to do is stay out of those people's business like we are doing and keep their white at home. But I think Trump said we're going to have to show them yeah, I think so too. I totally believe that's what they're saying. Hey, just start taking people out, because what they want to do, they want to keep a cap on it as much as possible, because you talk about them invoking the insurrection laws and all this other stuff going on. So they want to keep a cap on it. And it's my theory. I don't know how true it is, but I think even if it means taking some of these people out on broad daylight and TV, whatever it is, then do it. Well, we the top cop here, right? We being the government, federal government, we the top cop. So you go out there and do what you got to do. You'll be all right, you know.
But then again, Dimitri, I agree with everything you just said. white supremacy is nothing to be played with. They are showing you in real time what white supremacy really is. These white folks aren't their ancestors, okay? They got the playbook from their ancestors. Nothing has changed in their community. They will be at the top no matter how many people get deleted or no matter how many people, even if their own people have to be deleted. The message to me is clear. If their own people do not want to uphold white supremacy, they're getting them up out of here just like they did in Nazi Germany.
Yeah, but then also if you study history, you know what happened. Even as of a couple of years ago, those people who were in Germany doing some of the things that they were doing, they went and found them into the 80s and 90s, and they held them accountable. That's why I said if you really listen and stop listening to not you, Donovan, I'm saying, and stop listening to narratives and things, you listen to all the conversations, not just the ones you agree with, but listen to them all. Like I said, why is Trump talking about telling the Republicans to ram everything through? Because if you don't, I'm gonna be going to jail. It's like, are you doing something wrong? Why would you be going to jail, sir? And if you going to jail, who else you think going to jail? All the people up under you, right? And we've seen this story before. So I don't know. I wonder, like, are y'all just digging into crates and just reworking some things, But so I just, because that's just kind of where I go when I see this. And how you doing? It's on my end. Sometimes y'all names don't come up, and I apologize for that. But it says chickens coming home to roost. Okay, so I've seen quite a few people use that analogy. Let's see. And Frankie says, I agree with that. Why do they have masks on? I agree with that, because regardless of they've had masks on when they was coming to get us, but I don't want to do a tit for tat type of thing. But I agree. And if you coming to snatch me off the street, I want to see who you are. Show me your badge. I need you to verify, because you could be anybody, coming to snatch me off the street. And I don't think that's something I think they're supposed to tell you who they are. You could be anybody. What, like, why should I have to go with you? And I'm not just saying because it's ICE, but anybody, somebody roll up on you in a vehicle, whatever, talking about get in the damn van. It's like, no, I don't think I'm gonna be doing that. Why should I get in the van? But see, we're to the point where we're so silly. When I say silly, it's society where we think that's a problem, that people are asking you to verify yourself before I get into a strange person's car.
See, there we go. Not supporting our law enforcement officials. The reason why they're masked is because they've got families too. They've got families too. We want to protect our law enforcement officers and their families, because what they're doing is a very important job. Do you guys see the narrative that goes on here? Do you guys see the narrative? And I'm not saying it's right or wrong or this or that, but do you guys see the narrative? If you were tasked with this type of job to where you're dealing with criminal cartel type people in some situations, and Dimitri, you're from California, you know how they rock down here, where they will come after your family, come after people you know. That's how they roll. For those of you guys that aren't on border states, you do your education. Go look up what border states have been dealing with for over 60, 70, 80 years. They will snatch your family and your loved ones. So again, you got to find a fine line here. But again, who is the state to tell the federal government, which is a higher entity, how they're going to do their operations? I'm not saying it's right, but again, this was litigated in the Civil War. The federal government's laws supersede state laws.
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't care what law it is. You ain't finna be snatching me up in your damn car. You gonna let me know who you are before you do all of that. I'm gonna ask you, like, oh, get in my car. Oh, okay. Well, do you mind if I ask who you are? No. Okay, well, I'm just gonna get in. Hell no. You gonna be snatching me up, kicking and dragging this too. Like I said, when I was in the DR, they came and put their hands on me, that barely asked me any questions at all, me or my daughter. So I'm like, get your hands off me type thing. This was going through my mind. Again, it happened all so fast, but it's like, you need to tell me what the hell is going on before you put your hands on me. So I don't care who you are, whether it happened in the Mexican border, whether it happened in LA, where it happened wherever, in Timbuktu. I need to know who the hell you are before you put your hands on me, and why I need to go with you. I don't think that's an unreasonable question. But see, we are losing the plot. When I say we as society, and I'm talking about everybody, we're losing the plot to where we have convinced ourselves that you are in the wrong, and this is part of the game. See, That's why I said a lot of times I don't talk about a lot of stuff no more, because I see a lot of people are willing to be brainwashed. That's part of the game where you concede common sense. I'm not talking about law. I'm talking about common sense. It's common sense that somebody run up on you, talking about get in the van, or snatch you up and their face is covered. Hell, you could be any damn body. Now, the common sense is, I'm sorry, who are you? Why should I do that? But cuckoo sense is, well, you shouldn't be asking them because you just they did. No, we have conceded common sense, and that's part of the plan. Wake up.
Right. Now, again, as an American citizen, I agree with you wholeheartedly. But these guys aren't dealing with those type of people. They're not dealing with, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like I said, I agree with everything you said. As an American citizen, that's what they should do. Why is it that as an American citizen, we put ourselves in the seat of people who should not be here? And in some cases, some of these people are violent criminals. I don't think if I was law enforcement, even as a military person, when I was overseas, I don't have time to identify a target that I have to get that I've already been told it might be violent, whatever it is. I don't have time to identify myself. I'm taking you and doing what I got to do. But like I said, as an American citizen, I see what you're saying. But there's an easy way to handle this, American citizens. And I hope you guys are with me. Self-deport and get these people out of here. We wouldn't be having these problems. Why is it that these problems are now our problems? Because Joe Biden opened up the damn borders and let anybody in here without being vetted. They're not being vetted. So now you got to do what you got to do. I'm not saying it's right. All I'm saying is you got to sometimes put yourself in the position of these ICE agents. Did you guys see that video where they were protesting ICE in the area? And ICE was coming to get a violent child molester or whatever he was. And the ICE agent was telling them, we're here to get this person, and you're obstructing and helping that person get away. Let them, all I'm going to say this, if you like it or not, black folks, and I'm just worried about my black folks, get out of the way and let these people do their jobs. I'm not advocating for anybody. Hey, it's unfortunate, but all I know is I can't go to any other nation, show up, use their resources, and somebody's going to step up for me. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So I agree with you as an American citizen, and I don't want a police state. They have to have a warrant to come into your home. Like I said, and no, I don't want to be disrespectful. Most of you guys don't even know your own rights, but you guys could quickly say, oh, you got to have a warrant to come in your house. It depends on what the situation is. If you're not a citizen of the United States, the rules don't apply to you. They don't. There's nothing in the Constitution that says, as an illegal person, you get the same exact rights as an American citizen. You're not an American citizen. That's why when you, as an American, go over to overseas, do they give you the same rights as their citizens? Absolutely not. You're a foreign entity, and you're under a different jurisdiction. So let's get to it.
Yeah, you're in the foreign entity, and yeah, they should not be here, illegal immigration and stuff like that. But, like I said, at the end of the day, I realize our people have had a horror happen to us, and it's happening to us right now. It's not that it's not going on with black people. We just don't see it as much because, ICE is running through. And as I said, and I'm going to keep saying it, we got less than 3 years as black Americans do what we got to do. We focusing on everybody else, but as soon, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I really believe that the Democrats will be back in power in November, and definitely in 2028, because there's a lot of people who do not like what they see. But guess what? When the Democrats get back in office, it's over for our black asses, right? They're gonna go right back to what they was doing. They might, I'm sure they will try to reverse a lot of the things that's going on. Legal immigrants will come over here and be the priority again. So we're out of time. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to suspend my good common sense to further narrative out of popularity, right? It is what it is type thing with me. Marcella, how you doing? It says, always listen, but I'm also cooking for the family today, a new recipe. Okay, now so it's ginger, lemon, and honey chicken with a homemade salad. All right, that sounds really good. All right, 48 TCO, how you doing? Says, it's sad America got to learn the stove is hot. Come on now. Well, they know the stove is hot. They just ain't been used to touching it because they ain't had to, right? They was never close to the stove like us. Just another one. How you doing? Says, how did America prosper when it commenced? And do tell Common Man, how you doing? Long time no see. He says it's called the Supremacy Clause of the Constitution, Demetri. Okay. Let's see. Facts Not Feelings says, I learned a long time ago that other groups, brown, darker, brown, etc., don't believe in fairness and equality. We respect the blacks, and the Dominican Republic is the perfect example of this. Yeah, you ain't got to tell me. Like I said, I ain't got to worry about seeing me there no more. You can believe that. Divine by nature. How you doing? So okay, so I'm that far behind. Yikes. Okay, let me go all the way down to the bottom. Acknowledging everybody haven't seen. Carletta, how you doing? Says there's approximately 1,200 Black Americans killed by police, and white Americans said you should have complied. They justify our death. Now it's their turn. They created this monster and demon. I totally agree with you. Totally. JBWR says not one. Dr. Lauren, he says the Asians are smart. Yeah, I'd say so. Yes. Just going down, y'all. I didn't realize I was so behind. Roz, how you doing? And Common Man, it is nice to see you again. I haven't seen you in a long time. Love Wisdom, how you doing? Says as a ding, Joping, I told that man name up. I know. One said, feign weakness while gathering your strength. Says the Asian community are opportunists who will let others fight their battles while acting weak. Yeah, that's called smart, right? The damsel in distress thing, right? Let's see. Sister Sunlight says Trump wants to smoke. The Epstein victims are closing in on him and DOJ. And that's what a lot of people are saying this was about. It's a smoke screen for the Epstein files. I mean, the more nonsense that goes on, the less they got to talk about it, right? And then I saw that he signed some executive order about victims of human trafficking. They get to have something expunged. Just like, okay. Proper guy, how you doing? Says he says Minnesota Representative Alexander Faulconer is behind Alex being and agitating ICE. Okay, I haven't heard anything about that at all. Frank says Trump guilty. He is a piece of ish. Ooh. All right. Vendetta says, I feel no remorse or sympathy. Gray Sheets, how you doing? Says it's cold. Yeah, it is. Lily, how you doing? Hope you're doing well.
Real quick, a lot of people are saying that you cannot enter a house without a warrant. How many of you guys want to bet me I can prove that they can enter your house without a warrant? And we'll just bet, like just to bet, okay? Here's how they could do that. How many of you guys have heard of the Patriot Act? Everybody's heard of the Patriot Act, right? Dimitri, you know where I'm going with this, right? The Patriot Act gives the federal government the power to go into your house without notifying you or anything of that nature and go and search and get what they need to get. And why is that still prevalent? Because it is still in effect. See, that's what I'm saying. A lot of you guys be watching too many CSI and these crime movies and stuff and 48 hours and stuff. You got to do your homework and know what you're talking about. Yes, technically you guys are right, but factually you're wrong. Factually you're wrong. The Patriot Act, they could use that to go into your house. If you're harboring a fugitive, they could go into your house. There's so many levels to this, you guys. I'm not an expert, but I just want to use that as a quick example.
Absolutely. And Common Man says, oh, well, if you're illegal, you get what's coming to you, point blank, period. I mean, I just feel like this. I don't care where you are in the world. If you are doing something illegal, yeah, depending on what it is, right? Because some countries don't play with you. Like, say goodbye to everybody right now. We're not going to waste hundreds of thousands of dollars on you, locking you up. You just gone, right? So I get that. But I think, I don't know. I don't like when Black people are mistreated. I don't like to see anybody mistreated, right? Because I don't ever want y'all to think that I'm on that page. Oh, the hell, well, so what? Nah, I don't think like that because I know what you put out there has to come back to you. Now, I'm not saying that I think that they should be treated better than us. I don't think that's what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying I'm not one of those people that's just wishing negativity on people. You get what you got coming to you, whether I wish that on you or not, right? Like I said, I hear a lot of people saying I stand with ICE. I don't stand with ICE. I don't stand against ICE. I ain't standing nowhere, right? Because at the end of the day, the ICE is the police, and I sure see a lot of black people roll around talking about I stand with ICE, forgetting that ICE is still the po-po. So I'm just saying. So yeah, you get what you get. I think that needs to be defined, because there's some people in at different places of the world who are deemed to doing something illegally, and maybe they are, they're not, and they have horrible things happen to them. Right. So I think for me, I wouldn't take it that far, common man, but I can't tell you what to do. Gold crown eyes speaking. I think that's how you say, how you doing? It says, please what? Okay. And Sugar Neek says Donovan is right on. Let's see, skipping down. Edward says it goes both ways when you also run up on law enforcement. Again, if you see the video, the man didn't run up on law enforcement. Law enforcement actually ran up on him. Again, I'm not gonna lie to kick it. Again, I'm not gonna lie, because I know there's a lot of people out there with narratives. They again don't want you to think for yourself. If you watch the video, you can see the man did not run up on him at all. They actually ran up on him. That's how that happened. So again, I don't care what you, I won't say I care what y'all think. Like, I don't care about you. You can think what you want to think. I'm not here to change your mind, but I'm like what Ted Williams said, at least get the information for yourself. Don't go off of because everybody's spinning these narratives or whatever. Get the information for yourself, because one of the best things you can do is think for yourself. Right? I think that's, you can still do that. So yeah. Let's see. Papa Naya, what's going on with you? Says Border Patrol and ICE have done a pretty good, y'all crazy, put a pretty good job. I see you play on words there. TF, how you doing? Says well. FAFO, is that what you're saying? Zachariah, what's going on with you? Say agree. Kevin, how you doing? Says just got in from shoveling the snow. Oh, I'm glad I didn't have to do that. I walked outside today. It was pretty cold, right? I was just checking the surroundings to see what was going on early this morning. I was like, yee, it's cold. Wedding at Kana. How you doing? Says you saw that. Boss Player, what's going on with you? Says Attorney General sparked significant controversy by suggesting that the state stand your ground and self-defense laws could legally justify residents firing upon unidentified ICE agents. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people talk about that as well, because if you were not identifying myself, I just assumed that you somebody that's coming to do me some harm, that you don't have any legal standing, right? I just said it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission, right? So there's a lot of people who are just going to start doing that kind of stuff. Like, you need to tell me who you are. Easy says both parties guilty of allowing these illegals to run rampant. Come on now, it's not just one party. They've been doing it for a long time. And Ronald Reagan has some language and legislation that allow for illegal immigrant, not illegal, but the immigration process, and how they saw illegal immigrants too. So yeah, it's not just the Democrats. And this is coming from somebody who's nonpartisan. Brother Samuel says they got so many angles on these shootings, if you will. He says, ask if it was being directed for a movie and happening around the King holiday, their King narrative and interpretation isn't working to draw us in the fight. Yeah, and we shouldn't be, right? I mean, they outnumber us anyway. Most people here in America, our groups of people outnumber us, so they'll be all right. They don't need Black Americans out there. White people got it from here, Y'all started it, and y'all can finish it. Y'all don't need us for that. Bro, how you doing? Says, you are FBA. They knew you are. They know I am. Is that what you're saying? Okay. Diesel Purge, what's going on with you? Says 2/3 won't make it. Just skipping down. And JBWR says spot on. Donovan. Audrey, how you doing? Says seeing conservatives blame someone who was murdered, pretend he was brandishing a gun, and claim he deserved it just for being there is just about as horrifying as the actual video itself. Yeah, but again, there's a lot of people who won't watch it, and there's some, I hate to say this, there's a people who will watch it and still justify as to why they did what they did to him. I don't think you could. Hell, I think even Stevie Wonder said something about it. I saw he made a video about what was going on. So with that, I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to look at it and say, yeah, they lying,
Yeah, Florida one-on-one says they want slave wages and be able to blame someone. But here's the thing. If we do not make a stand as a people, you're letting all of these Latinos into the country. That's going to be the dominant group, right? If it isn't already, technically probably is. But here's the thing. We've seen at local city councils what these Latinos have in mind for Black people. Demetra did a story on it. on the Emancipation Channel about that school board member that made comments against Black people. Right here in LA with the that Martinez chick and whatever. These people are coming here. You know, we are so focused on Donald Trump, and I get it. You don't have to like everybody that you run across, but ask yourself, is Donald Trump helping the Black community or is he hurting the Black community? And the way I look at it, by him focusing and getting these illegals out here, that helps us, because if these people start taking over as they're taking over, bringing their cultural racism with them, what do you think is going to happen to Black people if these people have carte blanche control over most of the nation or these parties or whatever? It's a wrap for us.
Absolutely. And Magnetic says that includes phone tapping. So yeah, Obama, his administration is like, yeah, we can do it. We don't. It's like, sure you don't. Scoop says this is what happens when they built the system to harm us. Can't blame Babylon falling on us. I'ma watch it all with a smile. Yeah, but you know, there's things we're supposed to be doing within our community, right? It does not concern us. Like I said, them people will be all right. You know, this is their situation. We didn't start it. We are a victim of the system. We're the triple OG victim of the system. So we got things that we need to be doing. We don't have time to be getting out there, you know, and trying to help anybody else. Look how what's happened so far since we've been trying to do that. Our community is worse off for it. So yeah.
Real quick, Mr. Chopstick says, did you see Don Lemon said that entering the country illegally is not against the law? Did you also see when Don Lemon was talking about white supremacy and how bad the white man is and stuff in that little interview, as they were trying to say, hey, you might be getting charged something? He was, you know, he was on panic mode, right? I want you guys to understand this. He's talking about white supremacy and how terrible white people are, and he's married to a white man. Think about that.
Well, and as I always say, I don't know what Don Lemon is doing off in his bedroom. I don't even think, when I think about Don Lemon, I don't think about his bedroom. That don't come to my mind first. But as I always say, white supremacy hates white people too. Okay? Because all white people do not think that all white people are supreme. In fact, we're watching that play out live in the living color right now as we speak. Right? You have the people who are, in that sense, white supremacists. They are okay with other white people being gunned down in the middle of the street on video camera. So I don't know what Don Lemon believes in his bedroom or any of that other stuff, but I think we also got to keep in mind that white supremacy hates white people too. Bakari, how you doing? Says says big back and mind my business, point blank, period.
Yeah, I don't think we bring up Don Lemon, who he's married to, in his bedroom. I'm not saying that. How do you go against white supremacy or the whiteness? And if it's so evil, why did you marry into it? Do you see what I'm saying? I'm trying to get people to understand it's a mixed message that here you are talking about, oh, this is so terrible, but yet you married into it. So not his bedroom, but you know, his stance doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but who's to say his man is a white supremacist? I don't know anything about. I only know that Don is married to a white man because I always hear everybody else talk. I don't know who he's married to. Honestly, if that man was in the middle of the time, public square, I wouldn't know who Don Lemon's man is. Thought Lane, how you doing? Says Dimitri, these people are been operating organized obstruction. They found all of their group chats on Signal, including the top government officials. Yeah, I mean, yeah, everybody's stuff is on Signal. Everybody. You know, who's on Signal, Pete Hegseth, right? Now he should have lost his damn job for the messages getting out on a private or the personal public chat, you know, Signal, all them things getting out. But yeah, so there's a lot of things on Signal. Ain't none of them righteous. None of them. Hold on. None of them are righteous. None of them. Whether it's these leftists, whether it's the rightists, they ain't none of them righteous. They are now imploding upon themselves, right? And you notice the White House don't call them white people. That's who it is. It's mostly white people that's getting caught up. You know, these Antifas and these leftists, they never, ever, never refer to them as white. They don't. They have to form it as leftists because they cannot signal to the rest of white people that you don't matter, because they still need to, as LBJ said, let these people, no matter how rich or poor they are, believe that they are better than the best black per se. So they can't say, yes, you know, this white liberal, they got to call them leftist cuckoos, you know, all this other stuff, because They still need those white people, but at the end of the day, yeah, they taking out white people. They don't care. The white supremacy does not care about all white people. They don't.
Yeah, I was going to say, Super Sam Clark says, speaking of phone tapping, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad called them the universal snooper. Google and Siri are always listening.
Yeah, always. I'll be on the phone with my father, and we start hearing static or something, or the phone will drop. He said they listening. That's because they listen. I'll be like, Daddy, for real, they listening. I'm laughing. He said, yeah, they listening. And I was like, he might be on to something. He said, the minute we get to talking about something real good, the phone get to acting up. And I was like, he might be on to something. But again, y'all know my daddy's story. Brother Joe Nell, he says, watch the weather. Quote the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. We are watching the weather right now. I saw a lot of people when I posted about it, trying to say this, that, and the other. I'm like, man, I'm not finna argue with y'all. What they say, you can take it or leave it alone. Right? I'm not going to argue with y'all. It is what it is. You can say it's this, it's that, or whatever it is. Your mama Obama, it is what it is, right? You just have to be one of those people just to, as they say, FAFO. So yeah, absolutely. Watch the weather. Comment says, that's what the uniform and badges are for. Demetri K to identify themselves as law enforcement. Do you know you can get them from Amazon? You can order that stuff from the Halloween costume store. No, I need to see who you are before you come putting your hands on me. Identify yourself, sucker. Right? Because how many people done jumped in somebody's car thinking they this, that, and the other, and they found out the hard way, when they're in the bottom of somebody's damn basement, talking about, should I ask questions? And they doing that kind of stuff. You got people running around cars playing ICE agents and things like that, like they did with the police, right? And then they find out these people ain't ICE. They doing all kind of horrible things to people. So yeah, but again, that society has dumbed whoever, the powers that be, the society of whoever they are, have dumbed down society and told you that you shouldn't ask questions. Just believe it. And you dummies, I'm saying you dummies, I'm talking about them. Then people all the way over there. Y'all concede power and you concede your common sense because you want to go along to get along. You don't want to be the one that's not in on the popular thought, the group think, right? The mind of the masses. You don't want to be a part of the mind of the masses, right? And I think a lot of people don't understand. Do you really want to be a part of the mind of the masses? Or, the group think is cool sometimes, depending on what you're thinking about. But it ain't group think. It's group stupid. And everybody get together and just talk about stupid stuff. Yeah, because I say, how do you know? How do you know? Because somebody else told me. How did they know? Well, because somebody told them. Well, how did they know? See, that's the type of person I am. How do they know that they knew? Oh, you playing telephone now, right? We played that game back in elementary. You say, the stoplight is red. And by the time you get all the way around the car, you pass the word, they've been said it was 2 elephants in the middle of the room. Right? Because they just repeating stuff and ain't nobody backing it up. So you got to stop conceding your common sense and your ability to think. I cannot stress that enough, because that's why, like, you see people online, they just repeat the stupidest stuff. It's like, you could have Googled that and it would have told you you're wrong, but you listen to some other twiddly-dee post about it. That's why I said one of my favorite memes is by Abraham Lincoln. Y'all know he was doing memes. And it says, if it's on the internet, it must be true. 1865. I'll let y'all do what you want with that.
But Demetri, like I've been telling you for years, just like Ike said, eat the cake, anime, because I said so. That's why.
Yeah, I just want to make it clear. If you get in this chat talking greasy about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, you're gone. That's as simple as I can say it. And that person that just got gone know who I'm talking about. Let's see. Barai says FBA woke up. If Democrats get back in power, it's not going to be business as usual. It may or may not be. I mean, maybe they'll think and say, hey, Black Americans really, shunned us in a sense. Not all of us, but enough for them to get the message. Maybe. But something tells me they're going to be back to business as usual, because there's a lot of people who do not like at all. Like as I always say, be nice to somebody legislate from the middle, but we're going to have this pendulum going to go from the right, conservative, all the way over back to the left, because they just be doing too much on both sides. So yeah, Florida, you says Donovan, I'm against all immigration. Yes, I am awful, but you ain't about to make me no surf. Okay. Well, I'm not against all immigration. I think people come over here legally. There is a pathway to legal citizenship, although this administration is like, we don't care who you are, you're 75 plus countries, you are all mostly black and brown. You can't come over here, right? So I'm for legal immigration. I mean, just like many people legally immigrate all over the rest of the world. You got the operative word is legal, right? So yeah. Let's see, skip down. Original Skywalker says, hell, half your neighborhoods are gone. Hell, more than that. Martina, how you doing? Says they need to go, and anyone helping them stay is not for America. Yeah, illegal immigration is a problem. No doubt about that at all. Kelly, how you doing? Hope
And
you're
all
doing
they
well.
have to do is just go back home and come in the right way. That's it. Just go back. But let a whole bunch of Americans go to another country. They talking about invasion. Oh, they're gonna take over Venezuela. They're taking over this. But they can't. They come over here, and it's supposed to be some kind of humanitarian thing. Come on now.
Yeah, and I'm seeing a lot of comments about Don Lemon. If that man was sleeping in a bed with a potato and a tomato, I wouldn't give a damn. Because I don't get off into the bedrooms of other people. I don't care who you are, and I listened to the message today from Minister Shaheed. I think that was his name. Great message. They call him the math doctor. He's a mathematician and all that. And he repeated that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan talks about how people, I just say with small minds, they talk about other people, gossip, right? Talk about things that don't matter. I don't give a damn who Don Lemon is in his bed with. I really don't. I wouldn't even continue to keep saying, and that's just me. I'm not going to continue to keep saying who he's sleeping with. I don't care who nobody's sleeping with, because who he sleep with don't pay my bills. I'd rather focus on the things that he is doing that's important, or some of the things maybe that is harmful to whatever it is. But I just, for me, I'm not going to keep talking about what people are doing, because I think it distracts from the conversation. And y'all calling him Don Lemonade. I won't say Don Lemon is one of my favorite people or whatever, but I just try to keep it more cerebral when we're talking about things. You know what I mean? I don't care who he's sleeping with. That's just me, though. And then let's see. King Shark says Don Lemon trying to get back on CNN and MSNBC. He wants his job for major network again. I don't think he does. I think Don Lemon got all the money he needs. And see, again, y'all just be saying stuff, and I love y'all, but do some research. Don Lemon won a major lawsuit from CNN for how it went down, or if he got fired, he left. He's suing Elon Musk because they had a contract and Elon breached the contract, so they in court with that. Don Lemon has had money forever and ever and ever. I like actually Don Lemon outside of being tied to a network, because he can kind of do what he want to do, right? And I think that's where most journalists should be at this point, so you don't have to bite your tongue. And whatever it is, whether I agree with it or not, you should be able to say what you need to say. So I don't know how true that is, King Shaw. Let's see. Let's skip down a little bit. MC007, what's going on with you? Says you're righteous. Okay. Bakari says this corporation is bankrupt and is trying to stay afloat with nothing to offer but weapons or for the next 25 years. And it ain't even gonna take that long, because their time is up. Ugh.
But it is true. If you look at what's going on around these cities where they can't pay their bills, we're broke. The United States is broke. You better believe that. So I agree.
Yeah, but they ain't got 25 years. Their time has been up a long time ago. I think I heard today on the message it was 1914 or so, give or take. Their time has been up. So yeah, they know their time is up. They ain't got 25 more years. Audrey says we've had a Republican president and a Republican majority in every branch of government for over a year. This is about as good as things will ever get for conservatives, but it's not that great. No, yeah, I think that's it's over. Florida says, Dimitri, that's why I can't believe they dropped the mask so quick. Like y'all telling the white people they don't matter. You talking about Trump and them? Yeah, I mean, if you ain't in a tax bracket, you don't matter, right? Dirty Laundry, how you doing? Says he's saying how he is not guilty by association. How are only white conservatives framed as white supremacists and not liberals? I didn't say that. I didn't say that white. See, y'all got to really listen. I didn't say that white liberals are not white supremacists. Hell, we know that the white supremacists started in the Democrat Party. I didn't say that. If you're talking about Don Lemon's husband, I said I don't know what he is. I don't think about Don Lemon's husband. I don't. Don Lemon's husband, it ain't on my study list of things to do. He might be a white supremacist. I don't know, but I don't know who Don Lemon's husband is. That's all I'm saying. Because I don't care who Don Lemon's husband is. Hell, I damn near don't care about Don Lemon and who the hell he is. But maybe that's just age speaking. His brother Sammy says, great take, Demetri, the psychology of not using the term white, but leftist or Antifa strategically. Yeah, but, I just be thinking about some things. If you listen, they don't ever call, Trump and them don't ever refer to them as white. And that's strategic. That is strategic. Because they still want all white people to believe that they matter. But we could tell that you're going to believe what they tell you, you're going to believe what you see. See, we got people now who don't believe what they see. And they don't trust their own mind or their own thought process. Oh, I can't be right. Them telling me the propaganda is correct. That's where they want you to be. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people who are that way. Z Goddess, what's going on? I hope you're doing well. Let's see. I just realized the 10. And Brother Simon says, laugh out loud. It ain't group think. It is group stupid. People just get together. Common Man says it's hard to fake it when there's 100 people standing outside with the same uniform and badges and lights. Yeah. I just, can you tell me who you are? But again, Common Man, I know you're a very smart individual, so don't take this the wrong way. But even with the optics of it, well, there's a bunch of them who look alike. So I'm not gonna ask no questions because I'm gonna just suspend what I'm gonna just suspend my common sense. Well, hell, the KKK showed up, and there's a bunch of them, Not to like an ice to the KKK, but I'm just saying there's a lot of things that show up in large numbers. That don't mean you ain't supposed to question it. You're supposed to question. Like when I'm at Walmart, right? And I see a bunch of birds flying everywhere. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Is this the remake of the birds? Like, what are they doing? Are they migrating? They going south for the winter? Like, what are they doing, right? I question things. So I'm saying we cannot get to that point where we just concede thinking. Because when that's what they want. And I don't know if y'all been following the news, but TikTok has new owners. Y'all do your own research. TikTok has new owners, and we've been hearing these things from some of the people who own TikTok says we need to get control of social media to control what they post, to monitor what they post. Do your own research. That's all I'm saying. Repentant Judah, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's see. Brother Jonell says mental slavery is a hell of a drug. My people are destroyed due to the lack of knowledge and rejection of truth, right? Majority is under the illusion of inclusion, lacking vision and decision beyond their colonizer who are on fire. Yeah, they just believe everything. And not me. I've always been considered like a troublemaker because I just don't be believing. I'm not saying are you a liar? I need to know why you saying and doing these things, and it could be annoying to some people that I always give this analogy. Yeah, we was kids. Close your eyes and open your mouth. That's the kind of no.
Wait a minute. Did you say that? Never mind. Go ahead.
Hey, I'm gonna get these t-shirts made. You ain't mad at me, you mad at the truth, right? That's what you're doing when you trust people and don't ask why. Close your eyes and open your mouth. The hell no. Why you want me to open my mouth? What you gonna put in there? You could be putting anything in it. But see, the thought is, it's gonna be some candy or some ice cream or something. Why you want me to open my mouth? What you gonna put in it? So a lot of not y'all, them are to close your eyes and open your mouth type of people. Not me. I'm just saying, Lumda, how you doing? Says, dude, you have forgotten how they ended up over here? Who did it? Yeah, especially when you talk about the Somalis. But see, that's again. We could be here forever trying to unpack the knowledge. I'm not trying to defend the Somalis. They don't need me to do it, right? They got their thing on lock. But see, people don't want to know how they got over here. They think they just fell out the sky in Minnesota. That's what they think they came. They were invited over here due to the destabilization of their government from the United States government. But people don't want to hear that because that's the truth. What they want to hear is these people are horrible people. They're fraud. Yeah, they commit fraud, but not all of them commit fraud. Some of them commit fraud, right? But they talking about like there's all of them, but they don't want to hear how they over here. Why they over here? They just want to hear they over here. I'm like, shut up. because you ignorant. Find out why they over here. I'm sure they'd rather be over in Somalia, but they here. They're here. They were brought over here, and it started from the Nixon administration all the way to what? Bush, Clinton. All of these presidents who were conservative and liberals, they all conglomerized, if that's even a word, and that's how they over here. But people don't want to know the truth. They like the negative narrative that these people are leeches. Are they leeches? I don't know. I don't study Somalis like that. But get some knowledge before you open your mouth.
Okay, well, let me answer that question for you. In most nations that Somalis have migrated to, they are the highest group that are on the welfare systems in those countries. That's factual.
All right, they might be, but hell, I'm not saying they right or they wrong for being on welfare, whatever. But even that you said that, Donovan, what you did inadvertently, and I don't know if it was inadvertent or not, but skirted over everything I just said. Because what it does is, it's like, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but everywhere else they on welfare. That ain't got nothing to do with the price of tea in China. The price, what I'm saying is why they here. But people don't talk about that as to what happened to them through the government that people rah-rah for. The United States government, they are complicit in destabilizing governments all over the world, and it's still destabilizing governments, but we won't have that conversation. Regardless of what's going on in Venezuela, the United States government went and kidnapped a whole nother president and stole the country and talking about doing it to other people, but yeah, we don't want to have that conversation because we thinking we top gunning around here. Yeah, we paying Battleship Galactica in the water with all these fishing boats, and we just because they've done it to everybody. That's the conversation that needs to be had.
See, but here's the thing. When it comes to the Somalis, I agree with everything you said. I was just answering the question where you were saying if you don't know if they are frauding or not. It has been known in most of the Western countries, they are frauding the welfare systems in those countries. But here's the thing. When you bring a bunch of people that refuse to assimilate into a country and their mindset is still in struggle mode, this is why I think Somalis and a lot of these other people come here, because they're accommodated not to be American. That's why it's very offensive for people when they, at least to me as an American, when they take advantage of a welfare system that is supposed to help people who need the help, especially when you take from children and all that other. That's me personally. But we have formed, and like you said, both parties do it they're trying to make a slave class or whatever the situation is. But what they don't realize is what they're doing is, if you bring a bunch of militant people after fighting all of these wars, and you let them come into a country and they still have their militancy, how they do things or how they see things or whatever, you're going to have a problem within that country to destabilize that country. And that's, I think, one of the biggest problems that we have. When people come to this country, you're supposed to learn English, and that even Obama was saying that you're supposed to learn English and you're supposed to assimilate. But we accommodate these people. Oh, you don't speak Chinese? Oh, here, we'll write it out for you. Oh, you don't speak English? Oh, you speak this? We'll write that out for you. No. If you go to other countries, you have to assimilate into those countries. So for me to be successful and thank goodness most countries speak English as a second language. But the fact of the matter is, we're having one of the biggest problems as these countries look at us and they say, I'm just going to get what I can get and then do what I got to do and go back. But I always said this, especially for those liberals that are listening, the problem is not the illegals that come to the country right now, because they're going to be put out in just a few weeks, months, whatever it's going to take to get them out of here. While they are waiting, what are they doing? They're having babies, and those babies are becoming American citizens. So those 80,000 Somalis in Minnesota that came during the Bush administration, I think it was 30,000 then, had babies, and now they've got anchor babies that will keep those people here. And see, that's the threat. And when those people start procreating, that is the threat to Black Americans. When you let 24 million people into the country, like I've said on your show before, Demetria, there is not enough sex that Black people can do to counter that.
This is where the show is going to get interesting, ladies and gentlemen. I've been hearing that conversation about they need to come over here and assimilate. Says who? Why they got to come over here and assimilate? They what's they supposed to do? Wait, hold on.
I ain't saying nothing.
They dropped their they supposed to drop their culture because they came over here. Is that what? Because I hear a lot of people saying that.
No. According to the immigration rules, there's certain things you have to do to become a U.S. citizen. One is speak English. Nobody said about their culture. You're free to do whatever you want to do and keep your culture, whatever. But there are certain tenements in the immigration rule that you're supposed to do.
And I understand the English thing became a thing under the Trump administration this time. But okay, I don't know. I'm not an immigrant, right? I was born here. But what I'm saying is I hear a lot of people talk about, they come over here, this, that, the other. And they come over here and they stick together. See, the problem is I have a pride. I'm a Black American through and through. For those people who question where I come from, my people here, right? My people from here, okay? But I have a problem when Black Americans always trying to tell people what to do. You need to do this. Y'all need to come over here and do this. Black Americans ain't doing none of that. Hell, Black Americans, we have not unassimilated from what the oppressor has taught us. We still run around here with our brains booted on what we've been taught from the plantation, and we sitting up on a pedestal telling everybody else what they need to do. See, that's the problem I have with it. I don't study the Somalis. I know a little bit about it. Yes, somebody said that their government was complicit. Yes, they were complicit with the United States government and a lot of chicanery and foolishness, right? Let's concede that. But we are trying to tell people what to do, and we don't know what the hell to do. We do, but we don't do it. We're at the bottom of the totem pole, everything in society. And here we are pointing our finger, you need to do this. I don't give a damn about what Somalis got going on, because I give a damn what we got going on. But somehow we get on high and think we can tell them what the hell to do. We don't even listen to each other, right? Because I hear people saying, well, the Somalis need to come over here and do this. Hell, you talk to another Black American, they're going to tell you to shut up. Shut up, quit talking to me. I know it, but you want to go and tell Somalis what to do? Don't hate the game or the player, hate the game. Y'all mad when I say y'all, whoever, you can take it however you want to. Y'all mad that the Somalis came over here and they whooped ass. Yeah, they was brought over here under refugee status. And how could they be anchor babies if they were made citizens? I don't understand that. Have some come over here legally? Yeah, I'm sure. But hating on the Somali community as they're doing what we've been told to do for so many years, and we sitting up hating, that makes us haters. Now, is there an issue with immigration? Yeah. But you know who else is ass? And yes, I said ass. You can kiss or kick, rather. It's Black Americans' asses. You know why? Because Black Americans vote for it. Black Americans vote for the Democratic Party more than any group of people. We vote for our own demise, and we keep doing it over and over and over and over and over again. The Somalis, even they was talking about voting for Trump. A lot of them voted for Trump last time. The Hispanics, nearly half of them voted for Trump. The Asians, I don't know, somewhere here or there, they voted, they didn't vote a majority, but guess who voted for the Democrats, especially this last election, more? It was Black Americans who did that. But then we sit up and cry. See, that's the problem I have. And I think it's punching down when you punch down on a group, and say the Somalis, right? You punch down on them instead of focusing on yourself. For me, I'm like, all right already. How long? Not long. Are we going to sit up and talk about the Somalis when our community is dilapidated and in shambles? We don't have where the Black American daycare is at, the Black American schools, the Black American malls and grocery stores and hospitals and all. Where the Black American stuff at? I'm at the Donovan. Name me one Black grocery store.
Harold's.
That's a chicken joint.
I know. Harold's. There's a Harold's little shop.
But the point that I'm making is, see, we well versed on everybody else. We know everybody else and what they got going on and what they got going on, but we can't name one Black grocery store. There's 10 of them, by the way, in America, from what I understand. But again, if it's 50 plus million of us here, can all 50 plus million of us go to 10 grocery stores? I would say not. So if I can't tell you where a Black American grocery store, hospital, school, or whatever it is, and I can tell you more about what other people are doing, I'm the problem. I'm the problem to my community. I'm not a credit to my community when I sit up and punch down on another community all day long, and I can't tell you the first thing about what the hell my community got going on. See, that's the problem.
Yeah, and real quick, eligibility to become a United States citizen. Number one, well, not number one, but it's in there. Good moral character. You must demonstrate good moral character. Number two in my listing, English and civics. You must be able to speak, read, and write basic English and pass a test on U.S. history and government, and show loyalty to the United States by be willing to take an oath of allegiance.
So again, I don't know. I've never had to take that test. As I'm a citizen, my family goes back in the gap with being a citizen, or slavery. I guess that counts, right? But yeah, so I don't know what it is they need to do, but I'm just saying, I just think at some point in time, we have to. A thought lane says that them not assimilating is how you get domestic terrorists. There's a lot of people who don't assimilate and they're not terrorists. See, well, where did you get that from? Where did you get that from?
Well, the Ku Klux Klan is a terrorist organization, and they didn't assimilate.
That's what I'm saying. But where did that come from, right? How did you string that together? That if you don't assimilate, you can become a terrorist. There's people who are homegrown. Have you heard of that term, homegrown terrorists that have assimilated because they are American or whatever it is? So sometimes when we say stuff, we really got to think about it. You know what I mean? Like, what does that even mean? There's people who you would never suspect. Right. I mean, I get what you're saying, but I'm just curious. Lisa says we had that though, and they burned it down. Yeah, I'm not saying they didn't do those things to us, right? But we should be trying to do. We should always be rebuilding. We're not a defeated people. Hell, you could look at history and tell we are not a defeated people. We are the defeated people. We wouldn't be here no more. All the things that we've gone through. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said the things that the black man and a woman have been through in America will make a brass monkey shed a tear. And that's a lot of tea. That's a very hard thing to do, right? A brass monkey. And that's all the things that we've gone through, and we're still here. So if we can survive everything that we've gone through and we're still here, we can continue to survive. But like I said, I'm not about to be sitting up, keep talking about people all day long and all the communities and this, that, and the other. Somalis, if they committing fraud, they listen, the white supremacy see them as Negroes at the end of the day, right? They're not going to get away with that. They gonna pay more so than that white woman. I guarantee you $1 to a donut. They gonna pay. They not getting away with it. See, we talking about it as they gonna get away with it. People commit fraud all the time. Fraud is not, a new concept. People commit fraud whether they American or wherever. Fraud is it's everywhere. Yeah, I got telemarketers texting me, calling me all day long, and I'm sure one of them trying to commit some fraud. So I'm saying to keep talking about the Somali community is like, what else do we have? What else do we have to talk about? That's what I'm worried about. What else are we talking about? All the Somalis are bad people. Is that what we're saying? Are we saying they all bad people? You know what I mean? It's like all they black Americans, all black Americans ain't bad. But those are the narratives, and I'm just not going to be participating in spinning narratives for white supremacy, because those are white supremacist talking points, whether you know it or not. They do it to us all day long, but we concede our thought. We don't think about those things, and we just repeat stuff. That was a parrot. That wasn't me. It was my raccoon down there. My raccoon. Where is it at? I haven't seen. My raccoon was cussing. Oh, Tahada, you say less black people voted. Yeah, but still more black people. See, I hear what you're saying. But more black voters voted for the Democrats, as we always do. Yes, less black people voted. That's nothing new. Did less black people vote this time? Yeah, sure. But did black people overwhelmingly vote for Kamala? Yes. It's true, right? So I'm just saying, you can't cry about the things you do to yourself. The Democrats don't mean black Americans no earthly good, never have, never will. But yeah, I'm a vote blue no matter who. Even though they keep kicking you in your tailbone, May I have another one? So, I mean, what you mad for? Be mad at yourself. You know, have you ever bit your tongue or bit the side of your mouth? Ah! You want to like just punch somebody. It's like, well,
Stub that toe.
Yeah, you did that to you. Let's see. Let me skip down just a tiny bit. Albie Chill says Somalis are allowed to stay together and keep their culture. They aren't running around with the last names. Woo! The last name of the folks, as well as generational trauma. No excuse. Just saying it's different. Ooh. Wow. Yeah, a lot of us still got the slave master's name. We don't have to have it, but we have
I don't.
it. I know you don't, but I'm just saying a lot of people do, right? And we talking about assimilating to what? What is it that the oppressor has that we want to assimilate to? Look at the, black woman and some of these black men assimilated this even perm in your hair and your bald head 4 ways the next Sunday. Can't and won't grow no hair, never no more, because you're putting permanent, relax on your hair so you can look at white folks.
Stop with that. Stop. That was then. Everybody putting in wigs and weaves.
And because they got to, they bald. They done permed all the hair out their scalp. Let's see. You know what? I'm not. Mobe, how you doing? Says we forgotten already. How are we the problem when the system is made to keep us down? Maybe I got my brain is frozen. I don't know. I didn't say we were the problem per se. I would say more than likely we participate in the problem. We know there's a system. We so damn smart. Like I said, we know everything about everybody else and what they got going on, what they should and should not be doing. And I'm saying this about you, Mobile Way, but I'm just saying, but yeah, we don't know there's a system. We know there's a system. The system has always been the system, but somehow we keep on playing right along. We're gonna get along within the system. We just vote enough. We march enough. We, whatever it is. I hope nobody ever take a screenshot of me making those faces. Then we gonna somehow overcome. It's not how it works.
Well, Willie Gross says, I agree that we can reopen the Freedmen's Bank to invest and provide loans to start businesses, buy land, build schools, and skilled trades. Now, here's the problem with that, Willie. We can't open anything because the Freedmen's Bank is owned by the federal government. And if you heard Kamala Harris, she wants to open it to everybody, especially those people that have immigrated here illegally. And anytime we are included in everybody, Blacks are the least likely to benefit.
Yeah, Royalty Minded, how you doing? He says, we don't even know, much less own a copy of the Constitution. Says we definitely need to focus less on them and more on the beam and our own. Come on now, that's a biblical thing right there. But yeah, I mean, we don't need Kamala Harris to make a Freedmen's Bureau. We don't need none of them, right? But they think making us think we do. We can start our own bank. I saw somewhere somebody did a Pan-African bank somewhere recently. I'm saying you can start a bank. You don't even need that much to start a credit union. For what I understand, it was like $50,000 or something like that. Start a credit union. So, I mean, we could do those things. We don't need Kamala. Kamala don't need to be involved in that. But we think that she does. We think that the Democrats, somebody outside of ourselves, need to own and control things for us. Again, because we've conceded our own thought process, common sense. We're the smartest people in the world. But somehow when it comes to doing for self, we just kind of stutter on the gas with that, So yeah, Ms. Shantae says we really do need our own districts. I just want a safe space. We need to plan a city of our own. And there's some people who are actually doing it, right? Hey, Evelyn, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Yeah. Truth is,
how did Akon City come out? Did Akon have a city? I'm sorry, I don't mean to forget.
I mean, I don't know what's going on with Akon City, but I don't know. I mean, Akon maybe he's a fraud, but there's a lot of people who's not, right? Willie, he says they're shape shifting in and out of our culture. They become our fans and clubs. Well, we let them. We're the only culture that don't gatekeep our stuff. I mean, listen, you ain't mad at me. You're mad at the truth, right? Not saying you, but I'm just saying we let them do it. I bet you can't go into whatever Somalis is doing and say, okay, I'm here now as a Black American. I'm going to take over. We're going to do this, that, and the other different the way Black Americans do it. Matter of fact, they're not going to let you in. They're not going to let you in. Us? Come on in. Yes, come on in and get you a nice big helping of mashed potatoes and potato salad, and get you a couple of ribs and take you some to-go plates. We do all that. Come on in. And then we be the one to cry, well, you know, they ain't this thing because you let them in. Some of y'all need to watch Sinners.
And by the way, Sinners got nominated for the most nominated movie of all times.
Yeah, 16. You know, and we don't give a damn about them either. I mean, not them, the Oscars. Damn the Oscars. Who are they? They don't need to validate us. The Grammys, the Oscars, none of them. They don't validate us and tell us who we are. We know it's a damn good movie. If Sinners never win the one award, it don't mean it wasn't good. We don't need the white folks to tell us what good movies are. But it is admirable that they have got nominated 16 times. But that came out of them people was hating on them at first, you know, because it is such a good movie. Right.
Well, remember, Color Purple got nominated. What, I think 6 or 8, didn't win one.
Yeah. So out of Africa, I think won. You know, with some white folks in Africa. Black Butterfly, how you doing? Says get involved, school, city caucus, organizations, church. Come on now, absolutely. Thought Lane says, if I'm making white supremacist talking points, then you are sure as hell making globalist talking points. I don't know what kind of talking points they are. I ain't that far into the weeds with the talking points like that. I'm just speaking, and maybe you're talking to me. I don't know. I'm just speaking in general. You know, I don't know. I don't even know what that's in regards to, so I won't even try to answer. Old School says, why are Black Americans so obsessed with the Democratic Party when the party has showed it don't care for Black Americans because they have programmed us to think that we are imbeciles and we cannot think or do for ourselves, but the Democrat Party is not doing anything for us. Third grade gamer, how you doing? Says, keeping the names make it easier to make a claim for reparations. Yeah, I guess that would be an argument, but it's still the slave name, right? Brother Jonell says right wing, left wing, same toxic, funky, disgusting, you know, the chemical induced bird. I added all the other stuff, but I think, you know, Facts Not Feeling says, so after 400 years of Blacks trying to assimilate into the white Anglo culture in America, it has not worked. Remind me again why we should be trying to assimilate. We shouldn't be. And that's why I'm saying, why are we advocating for everybody else to do it? Hell, look what assimilation has done to us. We done lost our damn minds. We don't know who we are as Black men in America, women in America. Absolutely no knowledge of self. That's what happens when you assimilate. You have no knowledge of self. And so to ask Somalis and anybody else to assimilate, that means that they're losing knowledge of self. And we need to gain knowledge of self, right? Again, look what it's done to us, assimilating, and they don't want us to assimilate. You know, we are trying to do that, right? We've been trying to do that with white America, and look where it's gotten us. Absolutely nowhere. Assimilate the dollars.
Yeah, real quick before we get out of here, you guys see the background that I have behind me? That is the city of Chicago, the city near the lake. I think it's very important that you guys understand and watch what is happening in Chicago. Recently, Danny C. and our good friends in Chicago, Jessica Jackson, they were banned from speaking at city council in their city. Now that is a major violation of their civil rights. They have a major lawsuit coming down the pipe. I had a citizen in my city that happened to. The city ended up settling for $2 million. That's just on this level to settle that at the local level. We still got a federal case to pin. But what I'm going to tell you guys is, why is Chicago so pivotal? Number one, it's in the middle of the United States, so both sides can watch. What happens in Chicago it's really a repeat of what has already happened in Los Angeles. But Chicago being another major big city, and how they're stealing Black homes, using Black faces to do it, and all this other stuff. Very pivotal that you guys pay attention to what's happening in Chicago and support the FBAs and whatever you want to call them in Chicago. Jessica Jackson, Danny C. It's going to go down in Chicago, especially with Tom Holloman and all the immigration stuff that is going down there. Because where did they put the immigrants? In the Black communities. Now they're trying to push the Black folks out of their properties like they did here in Los Angeles. Very pivotal. You guys pay attention to Chicago right now. Very pivotal, because that is going to be the blueprint for the next major city and the next city after that, and so on, so on, so forth.
Michi, I think that's how you say it. And how you doing once again. He says, why do you keep putting us down? I'm not putting us down. I love Black people. I'm Black. I came from a Black woman. came from a black man. Okay, my stepfather was a black man. Grandparents, black people, right? I love black people. But see, the problem is we think the truth is not love. Now, I don't know. My mouth is not a prayer book, and a lot of things that I'm saying is not original thought to me. But see, what I never want to do is delve into delusion, because delusion keeps us asleep and delusion keeps us at the bottom of the totem pole. And for us to run around here talking about doing this, that, and the other, we'll back it up or something. What are we doing actually? Like I said, where are we? Got some banks, right? I have a black bank. It's not black owned anymore. It's got white people on the board. I just ain't been to LA so I could deal with it, because online it's a lot, right? Not to get into all of that, but show me where are the things that we are doing as Black Americans. Like I said, we sit up and talk about everybody else, and we ain't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. Shout out to my mama. She used to always say that, right? And that's not being negative. It's just the truth. So do we want the truth, or do we want do we want the candy, the candy coated, whatever it is? Give me the truth. I'm not saying I always like the truth, but we need to deal with it. Because as soon as we get to the truth, then the sooner we can build. But sitting up here stroking each other's egos all day long online, talking about we doing this and we doing that, we not. Black Americans, we still begging, right? I don't care what nobody say. You can get it, and it ain't even me being mean. We still begging, right? Like I said, I'll be damned if I get out there in the streets and march and protest. We've been told how to do it a long time ago. Keep your dollars in your pocket. Stop funding your own oppression. Build your own communities. We don't want to do that. We want to believe that all you got to do is get out there and scream and holler and march and just vote and then put this candidate up there, Kamala, Trump, whoever it is. As Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, ain't nobody in the White House going to do nothing for Black Americans, or nobody. So we got to do for ourselves. But we're still here in 2026 believing that just some magical something somewhere is going to snap their fingers and make it all right for Black Americans. Hell, they didn't want to make it all right for us when we was on the plantation. We were not considered humans on the plantation. We weren't considered humans after the plantation. We're not considered humans now, right? So they're not going to do nothing for us. So I'm not talking down on us. Like I said, if I was to die and have a choice to be reborn, whatever I want to be, I would still come back Black. I used to wear a t-shirt that says, however, I'm glad I'm Black, right? I wouldn't trade it over. I wouldn't do it over again. So it's not putting us down, but at what point do we grow if we keep lying to each other? Look at the way we do things. We're great people. If we weren't a great people, everybody would not be trying to do what we doing, be like us, every way, shape, and form, right? So we got the greatness down. Now we got to believe it and start walking in it. We're not walking in that. Right? You go to any of our communities, there's some that's nice, but for the most part, a lot of them aren't. A lot of it is due to the system. A lot of it is due to what's going on in the nation. So it's a lot going on. So that's what I mean. And as a Black woman, and we know the Black woman, and it's not my original thought, but I'm a Black woman. I'll be 55 soon. So I think I got the resume to speak on it. Black woman is dope and dynamic and greatest woman ever walking the earth, but the Black woman has lost her way and lost her mind, right? The Black woman need to come on and get some sense, because without the Black woman in her right mind, and say what? A nation can rise no higher than its woman. And when a woman not in her right mind, you can see why our nation's the way it is. Now, I ain't leaving out the Black man. Black man got a lot of things to do too, because they always run around talking about the Black community is a matriarchal community. It is. It's probably one of the only matriarchal communities, at least here in America. But
it is the only one. It is. There is no other.
But why, Black man? Why have you conceded your power to the Black woman? There's a lot of things. That's a loaded conversation. We don't got time to get into that. But it shouldn't be matriarchal. The Black woman should be taking the lead and listening to the man. That don't make her less than, but she should be. But she's not, right? So now she's leading the community. In a lot of cases, she's doing the best that she can. In a lot of cases, by herself, right? So but I'm not gonna sit up here and lie and say just because we are the greatest people, that don't mean we're walking in that greatness right now. That's the truth. So if y'all want me to, I can get on here and say, oh, we're so great. We got our dollars circulating 20 to 30 days. We got when I leave off here, I'm going to a Black-owned grocery store. You know, I'm going to go to a meeting with my brothers and sisters where we talking about buying some land and laundromats and car washes, you know, the miseducation of the Negro, you know, as Carter G. Woodson was telling us, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was telling us, as Dr. Claude Anderson was telling us, as Marcus Garvey tried to tell us. I could lie and say we're doing all that. What do you want to talk about? Because we got it all together, you know. Or we're not begging no oppressor to teach our babies in school. No, we got it. I sound like Kamala. No, we got our own black schools. We ain't got to worry about Miss Ann subjugating our black boys. No, because we got knowledge of self, right? We got sense enough to not expect the oppressor to teach our babies who we are, because we teaching them at home. I love to be able to have that conversation. Y'all want to talk about baking a brand new type of cake today? I love to talk about trivial stuff, but see, I don't do myself a good service or anybody else if I sit on here and talk about trivial things. Like I said, I don't give a damn about what no celebrities is doing. I don't care about who's sleeping with who and none of that stuff. I care about our community and how we can, you know, get to where we need to go. See, I don't have this picture up here for nothing. This picture is to serve as an inspiration. Madam C.J. Walker did it. A woman, I'm going to keep repeating this. Y'all know the story. The daughter of a slave. She built all that and then some. And we sitting up here lying to each other. Lying and living in la land about where we are as a black community. So again, if you want me to lie, I can lie. I you know, I took a theater class here and there in school. I can lie to you. I can act. It's the wonderful land of Oz, isn't it? But I'm not gonna do that, because see, I got an answer for that. So again, he said, I do okay in life. However, I just like encourage others. I'm very, anybody know me tell you I'm very encouraging. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm very inspirational, very encouraging, very motivating. Yes, you go, you can do it, boo-boo. Yes, all that. But because I don't want you to lie to me. And I've never met you. Maybe one day I will. But if we became best friends, I would never want you to lie to me. Donovan to tell you, me and Donovan are best friends. We've been friends for a very long time. And one thing we do, we don't lie to each other. We tell it like T.I. is. And sometimes, yes, we get into it like, I know you but is it true? All right, it's true. That's how we, I don't know, like I said. I'm not saying you want to be lied to, but I think a lot of times we really do want to be lied to, because that feels better. Tell me the truth. Like you go to the doctor and you really, God forbid, something really wrong with you. Do you want him to say, I'll just take 2 of these, you'll be all right? No, that pain in your stomach, it's just a pain. Yeah. You know, you want him to tell you the truth.
Yeah, it's not HIV, it's herpes.
Right, yeah. Or it's just itching. It's a bad itch. Right? I want to know the truth so I can figure out, give me the diagnosis, so that I can find the remedy and I don't have to come back to you for the same thing. Right? I'm thinking, I don't know. Donovan, what say you before we get out of here?
What say me is, again, another great conversation. You guys don't forget to download the African Diaspora News Channel app, Google Play, Apple Store. Also, thank you guys for joining us. If you guys do us a favor and share this on your platforms and your groups, that'll really appreciate it. And on the way out, please hit that like button. It helps the algorithm. And if you guys want to continue to donate to the channel, Demetra gets up super early to do her program. So if you guys want to donate a cup of coffee, anything like that, it's greatly appreciated. And again, trust me, everything you guys donate is going to the program and to a good cause. Great conversation.
Absolutely. And getting out of here, facts and feelings, you say, Black men did not concede power. Black women collaborated with white supremacy in government, modern day, and mixed woman. Some Black women going way back, read the book Daughters of Trade. I mean, some of that is true, but that's not the whole story. It's not the whole story. The Black woman is used. The government don't like the Black woman. The government hate the Black woman as much as she hate the Black man. Yeah, is he using the Black woman? Of course, he got to use the Black woman against the Black man, because he don't want the Black man. He can't have the Black man rise up and become who he really supposed to be, because that's the end of him, right? So yeah, put that Black woman and make her believe that she is the backbone of the Democrat Party and this, that, and the other. But that's all done by design. So yeah, the Black woman, where's the Black woman? The Black woman is worse off in a lot of cases than most anybody. So the black woman has not gained anything, right? She's been used as well. You don't use somebody you like. So I'm just saying that because the government and the black woman is not like, they was conspiring because they liked each other. The black woman, not all, but some of them, yeah, they have been willing to be used against her man. And look how that's worked out for the black woman. It hasn't, right? So there is a call and a push. And that's another thing too. I can get on here and lie and say, oh yes, there's black men and women are married like they used to be before, civil rights. We not. The black woman is the most single mama in America. And it didn't used to be that way. Black men and women used to be married more than anybody before civil rights. So we need to get back to that. But yeah, we're not going to blame that on the black woman or the black man. Because like I said, I had a very great black daddy. R.I.P. to him. May Allah be pleased with him. But I didn't have no weak black daddy. My daddy would never, when I say never, my daddy would never concede his manhood to no woman under no circumstances. So I must leave it at that. Anyway, love and appreciate every last one of y'all. Y'all have a great day. And Donovan, we're going to interview Billion. He is running for assemblyman against Isaac Bryan. We're going to interview him tomorrow at 10 your time, 12, and then we'll be back at 5. So we got a lot of great things coming up for y'all. But anyway, I love and appreciate the last one of y'all. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Peace unto you, Brother Jonelle. Hey, Angela, how you doing? Peace.